You telling me Indiana is the big dog on the block of the Big Ten? Big Ten championship, undefeated season, #1 in the rankings. Let's watch the tape versus Ohio State to see what them boys really did to get their first Big Ten championship. Welcome to Student of the Game. My name is Adrian Phillips, 10-year NFL vet, and this is a space curated for people like you who love the game within the game. We break down the biggest games throughout the college football season, and we see why one team won and another team lost, and I teach you some cool stuff along the way. Now, I'm not in the film room, you're not in the film room, so we don't really know what these guys are being taught. We're only looking from a bird's eye view, and I'm giving you my education, my perspective to go into the mind of a football player when they're inside those lines. Let's get into this Ohio State and Indiana tape. We're gonna start off with Indiana defense versus Ohio State offense, and then we'll flip it. Thank you for coming to class. Thank you for vibing with P. Let's get into it. All right, we got our first big play right here. It's 3rd and 6, first drive of the game. Ohio State really wants to jump it off. They've already fed Jeremiah Smith once. We get to 3rd and 6. Indiana is really giving a type of mug look. So they got 6 guys in the box. Sayin sees that. And Ohio State has 6 guys to block for that. So Sayin sees that. He makes the check. And he really manipulates the line to go this way because they have 3 down guys right here with an off guy right here. When we usually see that from the offensive perspective, they're thinking some type of loop game, right? So they want to slide the line this way to allow those guys to be able to play that possible loop stunt coming if Indiana showed that in the past. He checks, they got the play going, and Indiana does something that's really freaking cool. They bring a pressure from the other side of the field. We have our outside linebacker lined up on number 2, so he's not in the count. He's the 7th guy in the pressure, so they only have 6 guys right here. And what you're gonna see, they're gonna end up running a simulated pressure, which really allows them to be able to get Sayin. And what they're running on the back end, they're running a form of cover 6, cover 8, which is really quarter half. So we have this safety right here going to the half. We have this corner playing a squat technique. We have this safety on the backside right here. He's taking anything vertical from 2 and 3, and he's just sitting on that trying to rob that. We're one-on-one backside back here, and we got a guy buzzing underneath. Ohio State really ends up picking this up good. To saying maybe this looks like a weak roll covers where they're rolling over the top where it's cover 3, and it very well could be that with this middle field safety playing aggressive right here. I believe that it's some form of trap, some form of quarters coverage, and more. Number 7 right here just makes a unbelievable play in a big time game to really give Indiana the chance to go ahead right here. So we're looking from the back view. We got 3 down guys on the line right there. So when you're on the offensive line, you kind of got to send it that way. And if you got this guy in the A gap right here, we don't know if he's looping this way or this way. More times than not, they might loop that way. So you really want to send a line this way with your linebacker cross keying here to anything coming out here. They really picked it up well. Like Sayin sees it, he kind of makes the right call. There's nothing there. It's a clean pocket. I don't think he really sees number 7 sitting on that route. I think when he first looks at him quick, he sees him going to the middle of the field, and Buddy just jumps it. Moore just jumps it. That was a great play. They end up getting 3 points out of that, and Ohio State really did something that shows trust in their quarterback. They came out the next drive throwing it 3 times in a row. Through the first pick, whatever, we're going to put the ball right back in your hands because we got to get the ball to our best player, Jeremiah Smith. With that being said, this is the 3rd pass in a row, and you're going to see that Ohio State is in an 11 personnel. That means they got 1 tight end in the game, 1 back in the game. And with this formation right here, what we got right here is really like a formation identifier because we got this tight end off right here, and he could either be flashing across or he could be chipping on the edge right here if Indiana has a real good rush game. And then we got this wide stack right here. And what this wide stack is for, we really want to see offensively how the defense is lining up to that. So we got 2 guys out here. Are you 2 for 2? If there's only 2 guys on offense, 2 guys on defense, and it's probably some type of man coverage, or do you have your safety and your outside linebacker or your nickel, whoever it may be, are those guys mid-pointing in the alley? All this does is give him confirmation to let us know if it's some type of man or if it's some type of zone. And if it is some type of zone, what kind of zone is it? So with this safety sitting over the top right here, we could think that, okay, maybe it's some type of cover two. If he was down in the box with this guy still in the midpoint, okay, it's some type of cover three. All this is just information to give to Sam to let him know where he wants to go with the ball. So he knows that it's zone. Now he just has to figure out what type of zone it is. So we get the motion. They don't really move too much. He sees right now that this safety is rotating to the middle of the field. This safety is down. So what that means to him, he has his favorite matchup back here with Jeremiah Smith. Jeremiah Smith on any corner is probably gonna be a good day. He takes that one-on-one, it's the easy read, and it's a first down. Like Jeremiah Smith, one-on-one backside, you have to take that. Now with that being said, Pons, number 5, matched him all game. And I know Jeremiah got a little passes in there, but to be able to match him all game and not let him go crazy like that, might have made you some money. So they send the pressure right here, just a little 5, easy 5-man rush. So we got these guys stunned in with Hardy coming off the edge right here. Doesn't really get home, but it almost does because he gets killed. He gets beat, and Sam really does a good job stepping into the throw, getting it to the best guy on the field. We got another 3rd and 5. Ohio State really had a chance right here. These are the hidden plays within a game that you might not see from the TV compy, but these plays can really change the tide of the game, and if you don't hit them, like, they end up being costly. So Indiana really runs the same covers that they ran on 3rd and 6 in the first drive that gave them the interception, which means that this is probably in their play chart in that 3rd and 5 to 3rd and 9 range, like run this type of play. Since they ran it already and got a positive play off of it, it was just like, all right, we're gonna run it from a different look again. So offenses do the same thing. They run many plays out of many different formations. They're just the same, but they look totally different. And Indiana does the same thing right here. Indiana, I wanna say is more, we end up messing up right here. So I'm gonna pause it right here. We got a guy screaming right down the middle of the field. So why did that happen? Right? Why did that happen? It's the same coverage, so why didn't he take them? What's different about this, in the first one, they were in a bunch, right? They had 3 guys in a bunch. It was real easy for him to be able to take the first vertical off of that. I believe, I can't say if it's for sure, but I believe what type of coverage this is. He's squatting right here. We're going half right here. He's robbing right here. We're one-on-one. Backside right here. And I believe that he's supposed to have the vertical of 2 and 3. Really, he's supposed to have the vertical of 3. But since it's not a true bunch with 3 receivers, I don't know if his eyes get lost a little bit, but with these guys being so close together, you just want to go ahead and take the vertical out of the 2 of them, because if you don't, this is what happens. So we got a guy running free. So I don't know if that's 7. I think that might be more. He's supposed to be taking that right there, and if he does, that would possibly open up something right here, but we got a lurker hook dropper right there. But with that being said, Sam just didn't trust it. He got happy feet back there. He sees the split, so he checks that first. He probably checks this safety right here, and he sees that he's low. So you would love to see him go up top, but he just doesn't see it. Feet look happy. Ends up being a covered sack, but it shouldn't have been. Indiana really did a good job getting home on this. I know 70, you got to keep working till the whistle is going, but he probably thinking like, the ball got to be going now. It's been about 5-6 seconds. If they hit that, it's no longer 3-0, it's 7-3. They end up getting the ball back. And I'm gonna actually take a timeout right there. If you like the content that you're seeing so far and you like these breakdowns, and if you're a real student of the game, and you want to see more stuff like this, don't forget to hit that like, subscribe, and notification button so you can be the first to know when I drop new content. I'm going to try to drop this stuff weekly. I love engaging with you guys. So don't forget to follow me on all the socials. I have them up in the video. Let's get back into it. I don't want to take too much of your time. All right, Indiana had been playing like really good defense, right? 3-0, but Ohio State kind of started driving on them. They get to 2nd and 9 in the red zone. And Indiana here is running a version of what we call red 2. We got red 2 right here. We got our middle run through. We got our 2 hook droppers. We got a hook dropper, cover 2. We got our 4 guys rushing. I hope that doesn't look too messy for you guys. When you run this version of red 2, first off, this is gonna be a spot drop, and I'll show you what that means once we drop it off. They're thinking that Ohio State is probably gonna pass the ball here. They really didn't get nothing on first down. 2nd and 9, wanna get into the end zone. Let's pass the ball right here. They end up motioning the cross, passing the ball, drop back pass. And what makes Red 2 so hard, I'm gonna let this run for a little bit just so you can see the touchdown from Tate and see why he was so wide open. What makes it so hard, when you run Red 2, you generally want this to be like a match coverage type of deal. Now, everybody doesn't run it match, but when I say match, what I mean by that is these underneath guys would be matching certain routes and not just spot dropping to spots on the field. Your free safeties would be reading the verticals of 2 and matching those. But what makes it so hard is the farther that you get out in the field of play, the more space that you have to cover this way. So it makes it a whole lot hard to match those routes because the routes are longer developing. When you get down into the 5 or even inside the 5, those routes have to happen quick. Like, you gotta go because the quarterback doesn't have that much time and they don't have that much space to run those routes. So those routes happen a lot faster, so the matches happen a lot faster. So when we get this scramble drill like this, when we get this plaster drill, they're only rushing 4. Ohio State has a good pocket he has all day, and he scrambles out. We got 2 problems. We weren't matching this already. If we were matching this, he would probably be taking 17 right here, or the safety would be taking 17 depending on how they play it. He would be matching this because it's coming out to the flat. With him not matching this, he's wide open. And now we get a plaster drill and we get 2 problems. 1, if you don't have work, go find work. You're not a run defender. You will never make that play on the quarterback. If you do make that play, it's probably gonna be a touchdown or it's gonna be right at the 1. But him right here, you would love to see him kind of do the same thing. If the quarterback scrambles, then he has to cross the line of scrimmage and then you go get him. If you do trigger, you kind of want to midpoint it a little bit. But for this safety right here, you definitely want to look around because you just want to find work. You never want to trigger back there. We got run players and we got pass players. So he was going to trigger. He ended up seeing somebody. He saw the wrong person and it ended up being a walk-in touchdown. Is it a walk-in if it's a catch? A wide open touchdown. So we got problems right here. We got a 3 down front up top, and we don't have a level rush. And when we talk about level rush, that means we want to hit all points of the field so we don't allow the quarterback to be able to step up and rush in the pocket. Or if we do want to have a unbalanced rush, you want to keep it on the outside here so he has to escape through the middle to where your help is. Now, that's not really the best thing, but that's sometimes what some things are taught. So we have what we call here, some people call it a ram stunt. It's a 3-man game, whatever you want it to be, but we got guys penetrating right here. So we got Kamara right here. He's coming underneath and wrapping it around. It's supposed to be hitting him in the face. We never get there. Right? It should be dead, but when you're coming around rushing on the quarterback right here, you never want to get behind the quarterback because if you do, he has a lane to escape, and that's what ends up happening right there. Great play by Shane to find this guy and to get them boys on the board. So now it's 7-3. One thing that you typically notice about Ohio State is that when their receivers are wide, these are all identifiers to let Shane know they're gonna double coverage here, or if it's some type of 2 covers, whatever type of zone or man it may be. Since they're wide like this, they want that space for Jeremiah Smith. We're gonna look down here at the bottom and it's some type of cover 4, right? Cover 4, man, whatever you wanna call it. And we're just sitting on the route. Hit him with a couple curls, hit him with a couple, out routes. And you sit on the best receiver in the game and you almost pay for it. If this was not an underthrown ball, and it was a good ball because it was completed, but if he let this thing fly, they are striking a band because you are not catching that boy. So they got lucky that they got him down on the ground right there. If you're at corner in that situation, you can do not sit on the route if you don't have help over the top. And he almost threw that blind. He was just like, I'm throwing it. I'm giving him a chance. And he needed about five to 7 more yards. If he had 5 to 7 more yards, they would have been playing Ohio State fight song. We get to another big play. It should have been 14-3. It is what it is. It ends up being 7-3. We get a 3rd and 6. They're in the red zone on the 7. This was dope. So I'm gonna just draw this up for you right now. So they're giving this 5-man mug look, right? With the backer in Ohio State, they have 6 guys in the box. So that means that those 6 guys are counted for Indiana's 6 guys, right? You got a blocker on a blocker. Indiana ends up running a simulated pressure. They do a real good job holding off their edge pressures from way back here to make sure that they're not accounted for in blitz pickup, right? So they end up coming off the edge right here. He gets scot-free because he's not counted at all. And they're gonna end up dropping their defensive tackle and they're gonna end up rushing through the tackle right here, so to allow this guy to be able to come free while sending the middle linebacker. So the running back has to step up and take him because that's technically his guy if they counted the pressure that way. Like this was dope, bro. This was dope. And it ends up getting home. This was a fire play. What Saying could have done better here? A lot of quarterbacks are taught, okay, when you see pressure and it's not identified, sometimes it might not be identified, but you might have something short in a route. You want to throw in the pressure. They always say, like, throw in the pressure, right? So if they're throwing in the pressure, then that means these 2 guys or this guy too, they have to be ready to trigger right now because they're gonna throw that ball. It's coming out hot. They're throwing it hot. So Saying sees the pressure. Like, oh shit, they got me. You see the pressure, you would love for him to just, you got your guy right here, just throw it to him. Throw it to him. And they buzzing that way, I get it. It could be called a look, it could be called a now, smoke. There's different words for it, under, whatever. Both of these guys are running it, but I think Tate is actually doing like a burst, right? So you would have loved for him to look front side to Smith and throw it there. Like, I think it was still there. But that was a great pressure. And they dropped the big boy, had him bullying. That means a bully. When he drops like that, they call that a bully. Look at his eyes. He ready. He think he about to get him one. That was fire, but that was fire by Jones to go run that boy down. That's a 4-point swing right there. You knocked him out. Who knows if it goes to 4th and short, they might go for that. All right, so we got a minute and a half to go in the next drop, right, before halftime. And I think Indiana is really one of the better teams at matching quick games. So you'll see in the other videos I talk about linebackers reading the quarterback drop, right? So the quarterback catches the ball and he turns right now and he's flat. Then that linebacker has to be flat to be able to push to the routes, whatever it may be. If he catches the ball and he gets in his drop, okay, and then you have time to get to your drop to properly match the route concept. So you're gonna see we get quick game from Ohio State from Saying right here. We get a motion, we get a Zach motion across. That means the Z is going across, and we get quick game, quarterback flat right now. And there's just nowhere to go with the ball. This is just a simple concept. It's really supposed to be 5 out, but they end up sending the backer right here. So there's nobody right there, but they just got 4 spots on the field. It's spacing. He's really reading this flat to here just to see how this corner plays and really to see how this guy, the curl flat or the hook player, plays right there. And when we run it back here, you're gonna see that they push great. This linebacker pushes great right here to close up this window, and he can't throw it right here because this cornerback is just waiting to blow him up instantly. So there was nowhere for him to go with the ball, and then you get a good rush as this Jones. So they're showing that they have a 5 down front. We have a 5 down front right here with the backer walked up in the middle. So this running back is looking here to across, right? They get the motion across. Boom, they bring it, the backer comes, he sit that boy down. Sat him down and finish the play. This was the physicality that Indiana really showed throughout the game that really surprised me. Ohio State was physical too on their defensive side. They got like two men child out there. It's like Styles and Reese. We'll get to them in a second. Them boys right there, I was looking at them like, bro, what are y'all eating? Really, to keep the drive going, you really want to get points before half to try to get that, 10-point swing, 14-point swing if it ends up being a field goal or a touchdown. But you want to get something going after that. It was 3rd and 9, but we got a mug front right here. And we have our punt pro protection look, which means that this tight end is probably going to be chipping right here. This running back is probably going to be chipping or helping right there. But they're showing 6 up. And we're going to see what type of coverage they spin off of it. So they end up only bringing 4, running that same ram stunt, but we get a good route by Jeremiah Smith up top, but another long foul ball because we have our 46, Jones, buzzing underneath it, and it makes that window super tight. And Sand can't step into the throw. So this was a good job by them. He doesn't even look front side. I think he just goes to his matchup right now just because of what the front is giving him. So he's hoping that he's probably one-on-one backside, and he's probably thinking they've been sending field pressure this whole game, so it's probably going to come from the field. And he just takes that one-on-one to his Mr. Reliable. They don't get the 10-point swing, the 14-point swing. They don't get points before halftime. So they come out the next drive. It's a 2nd and 1, and this actually is like one of the few real good runs that Ohio State had. So you might have heard me talk about it earlier. I feel like when Ohio State passes the ball, their receivers are way out here to really show what this shell is going to look like in some way or fashion. Now, they do have play action passes where those guys are tight to the coverage just to keep tight to the formation, just to keep you honest. But when they get in this big formation, there's not really any curvature in the line. All them boys down is pretty much going to be a run. So we get here, we're in 12 personnel that looks like 21, meaning 2 backs, and we get like a counter OF, right? So we're going to go to the back view here. We get the motion. I'm going to go to the motion. I'm going to pause it, then draw it up. So we get the motion. We're going to get a puller from this guy right here. And then from our tight end, FU, whatever you want to call him, he's going to influence and then come back this way for one of these 2 guys right here. And we got a pressure coming off the edge right there. So what ideally is supposed to happen, we're supposed to get a power stunt inside by these guys right here, and all those gaps should be closed out. They should be closed out. But we get the pull, so we get a pull. We get the pirate, kind of. So he pirates under the next man that he sees, so he should really be pirating stunting under this tackle because he has a guy outside to hold the edge. And then we got the linebacker flowing over the top right here. Ohio State should really have nothing right here. But they make him pay. Good job running right there. So Kamara should have really went underneath the tackle. He can play it thick, like head up, but he should really be underneath the tackle, and the run game would have worked out better. But that was a great positive play by Ohio State, and that's really what they needed to keep their drive going. And now they're on the logo, so it's like when teams are on the logo, you always hear this term like logo shot, friend shots. So I'm gonna circle this guy right here. He's the guy, right? Now, we all knew about Jeremiah Smith last year. He had the breakout season last year, but the game that really opened him up, where he went like stupid, was Ohio State. And he was lined up in this spot right here. And what they did, they motioned somebody across, and Jeremiah Smith ran what they called a pistol route. So anytime he was close to the formation like this, he would run straight at your free safety. And some teams in the NFL, what they do is they read it. So if the free safety stays over here, they bang it high for a 7. If the free safety ends up getting his face crossed by the receiver, then they just run it like a beeline to a post. So it's a pistol route. Like whichever way the free safety plays is the receiver goes the opposite way. Like he can't be right. What's so good about this play right here, we get the motion, and I guarantee you, Indiana watch, this film and they said, hey, we got 4 right here. Be alert for the shot. They end up running the pistol route, but it doesn't matter what he does to the free safety right here because Farrell plays this amazing. Usually what happens is this corner drives and now this free safety is on an island by himself with one of the best receivers. And I've actually been in that situation. We were playing the Denver Broncos and rest in peace, it was Demaryius Thomas on a pistol route. And it was me and him. And we played match cover 3. So our corners, drove on everything. So it was just me and him, and he ended up banging it for the 7. And I think that was my 2nd or 3rd year in the league. And I ended up breaking up the pass on it. So I know how hard it is for this guy right here when you have a beast of a receiver running at you, and he can go both ways. So this was a great job by him staying under control. He is really in good shape right now. But I'm telling you right now, Farrell and even Pons on this other side made this play because they probably alerted that this was going to be some type of shot play. And it ends up being a sack over here, right? Ends up being a sack over here. So when we run it back, Sayin has a check down. If it's not here, maybe look here and here, whatever his progression may be, but he doesn't even have time to get there because Indiana's D-line is already on him. They're already getting there. He doesn't even have time to let this route develop. This is a long developing route and you need time. It's usually like max play action, 7-man protection, which it ends up being right here, but they don't rush anybody so the back gets out. But 97 just ends up beating his blocker and getting on the sack, and then he sell out. I love the way that he sells out right here. When you make a big play like that, you gotta sell out. You got to knock that thing out the park, man. Let's see it. Yum, yeah, yeah, I love that. So a couple drives later, Ohio State, they're in the run. Look how close these guys are to the formation. I really feel like it's for like cutoff for the safety if they're forcing down or to give them better leverage on the corner. And like I said, they still have passes off these. This is not 100%. It might not even be 90 or 85%. But as you watch the film throughout the season, you can kind of get a tendency to know like, all right, if they motion one or twice, is it run or is it pass? Like those are things that you start to look for. So we get this right here. One of the favorite plays in football right now is, we call it it could be a stretch OT where you're pulling both of these guys. You got the run going this way, and if you got a running quarterback, he can pull it back this way depending on how it looks, or it's an RPO going this way. And here it ends up being an RPO. He ends up giving the ball off because he sees the linebacker going for it, and this is a good drive starter by Ohio State. This is a tough play to stop, and this is why them boys are good, because they force you to play a lot of different things. So Sayin can keep this ball and throw it to the flat that ends up coming across right here. He can throw it to the flat that ends up coming across. He can give the ball off, or he can run it himself. There's a lot of different options for him to do. And he makes the save option right here and hands the ball off. But this is what happens when you play underneath block. This was good blocking scheme by Ohio State. They picked up everybody that they need to. That they needed to. But when we play under the blocks here and under the block here, and we get swallowed up right there, and the ball is able to get around the edge, it makes it tough for us. If you're a linebacker, you got to fight over the top and make that ball go downhill, because there's so many bodies in the middle of the play that they shouldn't be able to spurt through. A few plays down the drive, and this is just to show the skill of Jeremiah Smith and to also show that, look, he's close to the court and they're still throwing the ball. So it's not 100%, right? But we do have some width over here, so it could, if you looked at that, that could be something that could be really eye-opening to you. But look at it. It's just the skill of Jeremiah Smith and then the skill of Sayin to put this ball where only he can catch it. Like I said, Pons had a good day. I believe Pons had a solid day against the #1 receiver in college football. But like, it's just some stuff that, like, bro, they get paid too. You can say that in college now. Them boys get paid too. Hell of a catch right there. And he know it. He know it, man. This right here, to me, is the play of the day. This is the first play of really two where Indiana won the game, because Ohio State had this dial up perfect. And I'm going to let this run right here, and then I'm going to show you what happens. So, boom. They end up making a tackle right there. You like, oh, my God, he's about to score. Why didn't he score? So we're going to look at it from the back view right here. They're in 12 personnel, right? 2 tight ends, 1 back. And they're running what we call counter OU, bringing those guys across. The perfect play call against the perfect defense that you really want to see right here. Like, you got a blitz coming off the edge right here. You got this guy who really should be plussed over coming right there. You got your corner who's 9 yards off, so he has to come in to run support. Like, this is dialed up perfect. And like I said, usually for linebackers, you have to play over the top. You still want to stay behind the ball, but you really want to play over the top because it shouldn't hit downhill like this. But if you look how Ohio State just blocked this up. So we got this guy, he's 2 yards outside the hash. We got this guy, he's right on the inside of the hash, and with pressure coming right here, I should really feel like he should be stunned here, he should be staying here, he should be right there. But look at the movement that Ohio State gets. And they got a stun in there. They got a stun. This is actually weird how they're playing this, because they got a guy coming off the edge and they're stunned into the other one. It's a weird way to play it, and that's why they almost got hit. But the play of the game made by this dude right here, bro. Jackson should be hitting his head on the goalpost, bro. This is the play of the game. Play of the game, and I'm gonna show you why right after this. So they don't score right here, right? They end up getting the first down. Look at this. It's 13-10, 3 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. That was the play of the game, bro, because look at this right here. So we got a 1st and 10, and I'm gonna speed through these because I don't want to spend a lot of time on them, right? Boom. You know, they end up getting another one, right? They go down to 2nd and 3. 2nd and 3. Heavy personnel. They got Jeremiah Smith out here. I essentially double covered, so the box isn't as heavy as it could be. Don't end up getting the first down. Go to 3rd and 1. So now they're like, all right, we can't run the ball. Let's try a pass. Let's get it to him. Now you get to 4th and 1. It's 13-10, 1:38 to go. This is huge. 4th and 1. They sneak it and don't get it. From the first look, I thought that he got it. It's still 13-10. You got the ball back with 10:45. It should be 17-13 right now. 17-13. That was the play of the game, bro. Then we get down next in this drive right here. This is something that you don't see too often on the TV copy. We'll go straight to the back view on this. They just end up running like a power, and Daly just scrapes over the top to get that hell of a play, because you really don't see your 4-tech. He's a 4-eye. You really don't see him going all the way over here to make that play. Like, them boys was playing out of body right there. Like, here's the second play. It was really 3. I said it was 2. It was really 3 plays. Here's the second play of 3 where film study really mattered on this play right here. So we got Jeremiah Smith. He's close to the formation. Why is he close to the formation? I'm going to show you the back view right here. He's like, look, he letting everybody on the field know. He letting everybody in the stands know. Why is this boy right here? It's because he saw what they do when Jeremiah Smith is right there. They ended up running a play like this versus Texas in the first week of the game. It was a little different, but anytime he's close to the formation, this guy is the primary point of attack. They want to get him the ball. He's the best ball player on the field. They want to get him the ball. So what's so fire about this play by Fisher right here is that he sees this and he is not supposed to be right there. This is a great play call by Ohio State. The boy is not supposed to be right here. And he ends up getting in on the tackle a little bit, but he's not supposed to be right here. We got the favorite style and run. We got these two guys pulling right here with the back right there, and then we're going to have Jeremiah Smith coming all the way across. He is supposed to get influenced by these two guys pulling. So Jeremiah Smith should really just be running for the love of the game wide open. They pull, he doesn't even go because he sees Smith coming, so he knows the play. That's what good film study is, bro. He knows the play and gets in on it. So we get to a 3rd and 8, fall out of coverage right here, ends up finding them for a 20-yard gain. Being able to fight back like that was dope for Ohio State. This play right here, this was the last play to me of the game that really won. And they might not have scored on this, but I really think they would have. And I want to say this is Kamara right here. Bro, you are not supposed to do this. This was a flag, but this boy saved the touchdown. Because if he don't do this, they might score. So we got a throwback right here. They end up throwing the screen back. Bro, look at this. It is 3 blockers and it's him. And you're not supposed to cut right here, but he cuts. Boom. Forces Jackson back inside, bro. He really would have loved Jackson to just stay on the sideline. Just stay on the sideline, run it down. You might score right here, but forces it back inside because Jackson sees that he's going this way. He forces him back inside to his cavalry, bro. To his cavalry. And he tried to trip him. You are not supposed to do that. That is a terrible great play. And that won them the game. Those 2 plays, along with Fisher, won them the game. I don't even know if you count this as honorable mention or not. It's 3rd and 1. Boom. Go get your coverage. Run them down. This is open. It's open. This is so hard because they're in goal line formation. So it's like, bro, they are running the ball. You think they were running the ball. So 85 bluffs him, right? Bluffs him. Boom. His eyes were a little bad right there, but he ends up running him down and out of body. So he made 2 plays to save the game. So I guess there was 4. I'm going to say that there was 4. But this is why Indiana defensively really was able to stay on top. Were they questionable because a couple of them were fouls? Yeah, but hey, if they ain't call it, all is fair. If they don't call it, it is what it is, bro. It is what it is. So Indiana defense ended up doing great there. So now let's get to Indiana's offense and see how they were able to really attack one of, if not the best defensive coaches in the game. So they started the game off, Mendoza. Hey, hats off to you. You a baller. Throughout the tape, we're going to be talking about this guy, this guy, this guy, and this guy. Them 4 right there, and I know they D-line that. I know their corners are like that, but them 4 like right there, hey. So they jump it off, boom, move the pocket. And I feel like move the pocket plays against this style of defense because I played in this style of defense, and I played on teams that played against this style of defense. You always have to move the launch point against this defense because they pack the middle, bro. They pack the middle and they play man, and you will not be able to throw it across the middle unless you move the launch point and move the people who are in the middle to the plus side of the field. So they started off there. Great positive play. He ends up getting smacked. Who was that, Curry? Ends up smacking that boy. I did not think he was coming in the game. I was like, oh, this game over. Ohio State finna blow them boys out by 50. But he ends up coming back, and they end up converting on the 3rd down, a good scramble. They end up taking their first shot of the game right here. So Ohio State is really playing what Indiana played when Moore got his interception. They're just kind of playing it on early downs, right? They're kind of playing it on early downs. So, and what I mean by that, we're going to have a squat corner right here. They're showing cover 1. They're doing a great job of showing, like, you don't know what coverage this is. He's going to spin to the half. We got our robber right here, and they're one-on-one backside, and somehow, some way, these 3 guys are probably responsible for them too. I know that was just a lot of squiggly lines, but whatever. Good job by Mendoza right here. Like, bro, you got to stress this defense deep. Picking them apart, you will not make it. You got to, big plays are the only way to really get down the field on this. And this ends up being a great play by Styles. I think that's Styles Jr. because he's right here in the star position. And in this style of defense, that is the toughest position to play. You got Marcus Jones playing that, John Jones playing that, like some real dogs playing that position right here because they're leaving the middle of the field open. Now, I'm not sure if he's supposed to be robbing over the top right here. I don't think that he is. I think that he's just kind of floating, playing corners, just playing this area right here. But that puts a lot of stress on this guy right here. But Mendoza does a good job because he sees number 2. He's been watching film, sees number 2, checks backside to see if they have a safety rotating or a corner rotating right there. Sees this guy has a step, takes a shot just a little bit underthrown, but Styles ran that boy down anyway. End up being a good play. You know that Ohio State is gonna run, man, right? You don't know how they're gonna run it, but you know they're gonna run it. And they kind of show you the easiest form right here, that it's probably gonna be 2 men. We got 2 high safeties, everybody within 5 yards. You don't know who's blitzing, but it's gonna be some type of man. Could be 1 high, but you gotta see what you believe pre-snap and then check it post-snap. But what's tough about this is Indiana goes formation into the boundary on the close side of the hash. So these guys are smart, bro. They are smart. They know there's nothing you can run over here, especially with a safety on top. They know there's nothing you can run over here. So you're like, okay, if it is 1 high, if it is robber, then you just take your one-on-one shot right here, but it ends up not being that. So you put yourself in a tough position against great DBs to not be able to do it. And I want to say Curry ends up beating them boys up over the top to get a sack. If you want your chip to be good, boom, he gotta feel his rib meat right there. If he don't feel his rib meat, if he ain't like, or if he ain't on the ground, you ain't do a good chip. And you know you gotta bring a harder chip, because look at this celebration. Boy beating his head in. Bro, you gotta chip him way harder than that. But this is pretty much 3rd and goal. And like I said, when it's 3rd and medium to 3rd and long, this is a tough situation for your offense to be in against this style of defense, because they're gonna man you up and you do not know who is coming or who is cutting your receivers, right? You have no idea. The easiest way for you to try to attack something like this is to stay wide. But when you get down up in here, they love when you do that, because now you really don't know. It could be the linebacker, safety, corners, whoever. So we get the Zen motion right here, and they run what we call a 1 under 2, which is really supposed to be a pick for this guy right here. But we end up cutting with this guy, and I think that's McClain. And Mendoza don't even see him. He don't see him or Caleb. And if this is a good ball, that boy is either getting smacked or that is going the other way. He's getting smacked or it's going the other way. And then we got these 2 right here. Like, bro, look at these dudes, man. Look at these dudes, man. Just waiting like, bro, I dare you to run the ball. I dare you to run the ball. Them boys right there, monsters. They killed Texas the first game of the season. Ohio State really played well defensively. It was just a critical point, the critical times of the game. It was a pretty even match. This is just on here because, like I said, I talked about these dudes. This is Styles right here. This is the live box. So there's 5 people. It's technically 6, but it's really a light box. 5 people in the box. You got a QB run. This ends up being a positive play for Indiana, but like, all right, bro. Like, we saw your chip. You got to bring it, dog. That's a monster right there. And like I said, it ends up being a positive play, and he ends up doing his job because, you know, he gets the first down, but that boy is a monster. When we talked about Ohio State on offense, they had this stack, and it's so tough. I know people in college like to do this, like the formation into the boundary with the screens, and they want to see like how you line up to it. So when Ohio State did this on offense, Indiana had, 3 guys out there, so they knew it was on. Here, they're 2 for 2, right? 2 for 2, and you would think that they would be playing like some type of halo coverage, which means that he has him and he has him. So they bring the tight end motion across, and it just doesn't have a chance. Great play by Styles Jr. right here. He could have really picked it himself. Bro, I ain't even finna mess up your name, bro. I'm gonna try. No, I ain't even gonna try, bro. Good play, bro. That was good film study, and that was really good attacking your coverage. It's hard when it's man coverage running screens like that, so you would have love to see like Mendoza either check out of that or not throw it. I don't know why he threw that. He knew it was 2 for 2, knew it was man, but that was a play call. But he a Heisman, bro. And, you know, I sucked at quarterback. Well, I ain't suck at quarterback, but I ain't play quarterback. So he a Heisman. This was fire because we get to the second quarter. Ohio State is up. It's 3rd and 6, 97 right here. We're going to see him rush high. We're going to see Curry right here rush like at the level of the quarterback, and we're going to see Mendoza try to get out to his right hand. So when you get in your pass rush film, there's different ways that they talk about attacking the quarterback. Like, is this quarterback, when he runs the ball, when he scrambles, does he go to his throwing arm? Does he go out this way? Is he an A gap? Is he a B gap? Does he go C gaps? Like, where does he escape the pocket when he's under duress, right? Well, they know that Mendoza kind of likes to roll out to his throwing arm. So they rush here. They rush level here. He's cover rushing, meaning if Mendoza goes through here, he's not really trying to win on the leverage. He's just posting up waiting for him to run this way, because if he does, he's going to be there for the tackle. And they tell 97 right here, Jackson, to rush high, because anticipating that he rolls out right here to get a sack, and he almost falls into it, bro. He almost falls into it. I just want y'all to know that was planned. Like, that was planned. They always teach you never really want to rush past the quarterback. So for him to do that and to really set that up, like, that was planned, and that was something that happens on the D-line that a lot of people don't really know. So it's like, how does Myles Garrett, how does TJ Watt, like, how do the boys get them sacks like that? It's because, one, they fire and they just win one-on-one. But two, like, there's pass rush games. It's a chess match. It's a chess match. So this was fire right here. That was fire. We get to later in the game, and it's 3rd and 2. I swear, you can, if you know Devin McCourty, you can ask him yourself. You can say, how does AP feel about cover 2 on less than 3rd to 5? I absolutely hate it. I absolutely hated it, man. Hated it, because it's like you're almost giving them the first down. It's so tough. And they do it even harder. They running cover 2 out of match coverage. So they're showing like it's one high right here. And this guy's going to spin here, and we got Styles right here. He's going to spin, and they stretch deep. Like, the one way to beat cover 2 is sending everybody deep. And they end up running indigo. But, you know, do they have it covered? I mean, if he really wanted to, he could take it right here. So I would say no. But, like, Mendoza a baller, and he knows, bro, you got to take your shots. You got to back up this defense, because if you don't back them up, bro, it's going to be tough. You got to back up the secondary. So they're going to say, like, you know, Styles, you got to probably stay on the numbers right here, drive, work hard early in the down so you can see this. But at the end of the day, bro, whatever. But I will say on Indiana's side, this is what I was talking about. Their receivers making the critical catches in the critical parts of the game. When they needed them, it was there, bro. Big time. Big time. 3rd and 8, a chance for them to get off the field. It's 6-10. 6-10, they don't get this. They kick a field goal. It's 10-9. Who knows what the game goes to. But what I said earlier is one of the ways that you really want to attack this style of defenses that really pack the middle and you don't really know who is cutting, you spread them out. You spread them out because it declares who your cutter is. It declares who your cutter is right now, right? So they're talking about it. And Ohio State is playing some type of like rover-ish, robber coverage, and it ends up being a touchdown. Another critical catch in the critical time of the game. Your best players have to play the best at the best time. So, like, how could Ohio State have defended this any different? Well, you know that your safety is probably robbing anything inside. He's free. So you would love for this guy to either be head up to outside because you got a free safety right here who I really believe should be plus that way. I'm not in the film room, so I don't know if that's what they teaching him, but I feel like he should be plus more that way. He still won't really affect this throw, but he might kind of deter him a little bit because now Mendoza might think this is cover 2 or a 2-man, and that's going to be a tougher throw for me to make, right? And we also talk about here, this corner playing off sometimes, and this is just little nuggets that you can use, like this corner playing off with his eyes inside right here. And when he sees that, now he is like, I don't know if I can make that throw. Like those are the little chess moves that you can make to deter something like this. But for him to throw this ball on this side of the hash all the way over here, big time throw, and that's why he probably gonna win the Heisman. But you would love for that. You would love for him to play more outside leverage on that because you got help inside. More head up to outside leverage. Or if you do play inside leverage, you got to beat him to the spot. And that was really, bro, I say all that. Like, I say, like, yeah, you got to do this and you got to do that. But, bro, that was really good coverage. He just won. 13 wanted it more. It is what it is. That was just their receivers winning at the most critical point of the game. 13-10, 11 minutes to go. Boom, block in the back. Don't get called. So it should, instead of being 3rd and 6, go to like 3rd and 16. Now it's 3rd and 4. But I just wanted to put this on here to show what number 8 and 0, like, look how they run this boy down. Crazy. Here is the last big play of the game. There wasn't a whole bunch that happened. Ohio State really ended up taking a lot of time, but 2 minutes, 41 seconds ago, it's 3rd and 6. They pretty much say we're going to end the game right here. And this is why your best players have to play the best at the most important times. That is a great corner. Matthews is a good corner. He played, I think that was Matthews. Yeah, he plays really well, but like Indiana just iced the game. You have no middle field help because it's like, you know that they running the ball probably, or it's gonna be something short just to keep it moving. And you gotta nut up at the right time. And they don't. Game is over. 3rd and 7, they run the ball again, and then they end up punting the ball, and Ohio State has like 20 seconds to go. But Indiana really just played better at the critical points of the game offensively. Defensively, they just kind of had Ohio State in the blender. Like, Ohio State had their chances. Defensively, Indiana, I just believe, was more physical up front and really threw some stuff at Sand and threw some stuff at the Ohio State offense that they might not have seen before. Those 3 or 4 plays that I showed, like, those really won the game daily, the play that he had. That's why Indiana is the big dog on the block. But will they be the one to hoist the trophy at the end? We gonna see, because Ohio State gonna be there. I believe Ohio State gonna be there. I think it's gonna be probably Ohio State and Georgia, but we gonna see. With that being said, this is the end of the session. Thank you for coming to class. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, follow me on all the socials. I had fun. Write some good stuff in the comments. Let me know what you think could have been better. Let me know what you think you saw on the field. I like to talk. I just like to talk ball. Thank you for vibing with P. I'll see you next time. Peace.